Hey guys, welcome back to Sonic Superstars,
Yay!
starring me, my little buddy Tails, my
Me.
rival Knuckles, my friend Amy, and our new buddy Trip.
Trip. The Trip.
Oh, look at her just peeking out.
Aw, she the shy one still.
You know, it explains why it felt like the title screens felt so empty when we first started. It needed a fifth member, and now they can start their own rock band.
And there you go, everybody. Welcome to Sega's fifth member of the Sonic Party. I really hope she sticks this time.
Triplets born.
Alright, with that said, everybody, I think you all know why we're here. We, with somewhat flying colors, finished the, we actually did up and finish the main campaign with Sonic and his bumbling friends. Now it's time to tackle this game's alternate scenario, starring Trip the Sungazer.
Yay.
Yay! And we're going to now. Is this actually taking place like post game, or is this an alternate series of events?
It's after the main events, but they treat this more or less the same as Knuckles' campaign from Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Okay.
I'd imagine it would be.
All right then.
So, after all was said and done, Trip has finally gotten along with... She's finally got time to, hang out with all the little animal friends. Unfortunately, a familiar mech was flying on by, and she realized she had to go and do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
She's learned to be brave from her new friends. Also helps that, I believe, kind of similar to Knuckles, actually, she is the last of the race that was meant to be guarding these islands.
They never explicitly say if she is or not, but I mean, she's the only one that's actually present, so I'm gonna go ahead and, assume that's a yes. So, Trip. Her gameplay style is as follows. Obviously, like everyone else, she can run pretty fast. She can double jump like Amy, and while she's double jumping, she extends her spikes.
Yes.
When she does that, she essentially can stick on walls like Knuckles can, and honestly, to my surprise, she kind of pulls an Espio in that she can cling onto more than just the walls. She can also cling to the ceilings as well.
Huh.
Yeah.
That and I'm mainly just basing it on her actual sprite, where rather than curling into a ball, she more so swirls around like a snake.
Yeah, she becomes a vector.
Right, it reminds me a lot of Vector's jump animation from Chaotix.
Yeah, I think everyone and their mother more or less made the comparison. Okay.
Oh!
Let's get down to the nitty-gritty regarding Trip's campaign.
Sure.
Much like Knuckles' campaign from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, they try to opt in with making the level design a slight bit harder to, I guess that's not entirely true in Knuckles' case, but with Trip, the level design was slightly altered to be slightly harder, and make them actually require her skill set, as well as the power of the Chaos Emeralds.
Oh, okay.
Right.
There will actually be times where your path will be blockaded by the blocks that normally can't be broken by your regular abilities. You're going to need your Emerald powers, whether it be Bullet or Avatar or even Supersonic.
Right, or sometimes you'll have to use your water abilities or your vine abilities to grow.
Actually, speaking of Supersonic,
She becomes her Durgan friend.
Oh,
nice.
Yep, she can turn Super Dragon, which, in concept, I really like. In execution, it's a little, it takes some getting used to compared to just playing as Supersonic or super-powered Amy, Tails, and Knuckles.
Does she have, infinite flight, or...?
She can fly, yes.
Okay.
Honestly, the only thing about Super Dragon Trip that's a little off-kilter to me is how she jumps, because it's not just the age-old Sonic hop and spin sort of thing. She kind of hovers somewhat awkwardly to start flying, and then she can start flying anywhere.
Okay.
Huh.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Now that we're in Trip's campaign, Eggman's more or less out of the picture. Though that being said, much like before, he's left his old-fashioned egg robos to patrol the area while he's away.
Alright, and so those are going to be the main things piloting most of the mechs around here.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll worry about that a bit more later. Doug, what have you had a chance to try out Trip's campaign?
Yeah, I did.
Your thoughts?
I wanted to throw my controller through my window at the very end.
Okay, so that's the thing. Yeah, we will get to the end when that happens. But I guess otherwise, all up until that particular moment, what were your thoughts on how Trip controlled before that?
I like how she controls for her campaign. It's really nice. You're gonna die.
Yeah, I just realized that there's no way for me to get back.
Yeah, I would
to...
say, James, I
I've
think you
seen what
actually
happens.
tried.
I've seen what happens. Yeah, go back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going back.
Yeah,
There
you
you go.
glitched yourself in such a way where you were in between the very levels themselves. So just stay below. Yeah, just stay there, and then go through this, and now you're good. Fly
There
through
you
the
go.
jump.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, let's get 2 things out of the way right now regarding regarding tripping her campaign. Hell, 3 things rather.
Mm-hmm.
Let it be known right now that I think her gameplay is perfectly fine. I have no real problem with it, and they do give you the option to play as her during the main campaign if you want to just, do it for old time's sake. And I honestly think I'm kind of grateful they give you that luxury. With Trip's campaign,
Whoa!
Whoa, what?
okay. I won't even begin that. Let that right there be my second thing regarding Trip's campaign. They make the level design harder, but when I say make it harder, they make it borderline bullshit at points.
Yeah.
I'll say that was a blind jump, and also, and as you're gonna find out, this game, for whatever reason, this game has actually now made Supersonic, or the super form itself, kind of its weakest in terms of, like, again, just wait till the end. There's gonna be, how about this? There's gonna be attacks that can actually insta-kill a super form, which usually never happens.
Yeah.
Well, unless you get crushed or drown.
Let's get crushed, and wait! Okay. But anyway, and then you said there was a third thing?
You know what? Yes, there was a third thing, and actually perfect timing. The boss fights are back,
Yeah, fair enough.
and they're longer now, because the bosses themselves take more damage.
Yep.
Oh, lovely.
I don't know if it's fully double or like 1.5 times, but they have just simply... I think that's the other thing that makes it a little annoying, is that these bosses don't have like new or advanced move sets. It's just more health.
Yeah, that's really all there is to it, and I think that's pretty bad in this game's case, where the boss fights were already its weakest link.
Which is why you're just gonna do this.
I mean, easily out of the classic stuff, these bosses are the weakest in the whole series.
Yeah.
Again, I really just think it's a matter of how much punishment they take, which was already a little too long, even in the main campaign. Like, otherwise, I think they're okay.
How do you breathe fire real quick?
Oh, you press the jump button,
Okay, that's cool.
but you can only do it while flying.
Makes sense. But so do not mind, as James will be using this whenever possible, because yeah, these bosses are lame.
They're lame and they take too freaking long, as per usual. Which, I'm sure it makes Eggman happy, knowing that they can take much more punishment.
Right.
I don't know how I'm meant to feel that my egg robos can be better bosses than me.
You know, it's really funny that you mentioned that, the whole notion of taking punishment. I remember, like, when Andrew did, like, his little, like, quasi-review of it, he was talking about, like, he mentioned he was in the minority and that, like, he didn't really mind most of the bosses, big air quotes, most of the bosses, purely on the logic of he kind of gets amused by the idea of, like, oh, Eggman's actually smart this time. He actually makes a boss that actually takes Sonic time to defeat, instead of it just being, like in the classic games where if you know what you're doing, you can pretty much whip an Eggman boss in, like, less than 30 seconds.
I mean, by practicality, Eggman's playing it smart by, giving his robots a little more life support than usual. But otherwise, but as far as, like, game flow is concerned, it's an absolute pace breaker.
I would say that's the thing.
I was
Oh, go ahead, Doug.
No, I was about to say, I was tempted to make that joke, but no, I'm gonna shut my mouth for that one.
Okay.
No, you're fine.
I would say that
It was a dark
mainly
joke.
taking from...
Gotcha.
How about this? Mainly taking from a puzzle, because I recently saw this video from the people. I don't know if we talked about it on the channel before, but Escapist pretty much lost all of its best content creators because they're stupid and didn't know how to treat them properly.
Escapists.
But all the Escapists, yeah. But
the
fortunately,
same
all
people
all
that-
the good people. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, if you didn't know, Escapists, they're the same people that gave us stuff like Yahtzee's reviews and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
Yep, zero punctuation, and but yeah, basically they screwed over a producer of theirs that had written and done fantastic work. Wait a minute, you can't go this way.
Yeah, or I'm going the wrong way. But listen,
I love how it grinds.
Nothing is more adorable than seeing a dragon try to grind on rails.
I like it. It's pretty amusing.
We've learned as a society how awesome it is to see dragons skateboarding, so this is the next best thing.
Oh, that's
Not
cute how
really.
like holds on with its head. But anyway, so the good news is that all the good people who work for Escape is because they screwed over a producer and claimed, oh, he wasn't working hard enough. That's why we let him go, even though no, it was because he wrote honest reviews and didn't accept buyouts from game companies. Anyway, all the content creators ditched the platform and started their own YouTube series called Second Wind. And so now, basically, if you want to, it's this really nice thing where if you want to see all of the original content creators you loved, just go to Second Wind. They're all there. Anyway, I bring this up because they brought up,
that sounds an awful lot like what happened with Game Explain. How good, like all of its good people end up making Good Vibes Gaming.
That's right. But yes, the reason why I brought them up just because this is my stupid tangent brain. Don't mind me. The fact that we mentioned that this actually makes sense. Eggman is doing this. Like it makes sense for him to do this. Except much like how one of the Second Wind people talked about a puzzle in one of my. It's a game I normally like called Abduction by the people who made like Myst and stuff, but I will 100% agree with them. There is one particular puzzle that is probably the most horseshit puzzle they ever made. Not because it's hard to figure out what to do, but it's because it's hard to do the thing. Imagine like a block sliding puzzle from hell. And basically, like there is actually like lore you can find in game that explains why the puzzle is built like this. And okay, so you spit fire when you're with her special ability.
Actually, this would be a good time to use it.
Yay!
You know, I want someone to make a sound mod where every time she uses the fireball attack, it's just accompanied by a big.
Oh, I was thinking like the Mario fireball sound.
I mean that too, but just the sound of her just
there
like
we go.
hawking a Louie, like.
Yeah, I get that. Anyway, basically, when they brought up a lore explanation for it, it's like, okay, that's cool. There is making sense in universe and being completely justifiable, and then there's being fun gameplay. And sometimes you gotta make the choice to go with the fun gameplay instead of making
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm in a rambling mood today.
There is unfortunately such a thing as trying to ignore reality when it comes to game design, because sometimes the realistic approach is often the most tedious or boring.
Yeah.
Do I want to play a Sonic game where Sonic has to stop every 2 stages in order to make ends meet so we can buy a chili dog for $4.99? Maybe, but only if it's a fun game. If it's just doing errands and chores to buy food and then wait impatiently at the rest stop when he has to stop after eating the chili dog and 2 large sodas, when I told him he should have went before we went into Sand Act 1, well then that's just not good game design.
I mean,
it
Logan,
makes sense, but it's not fun.
I know you're saying all this for the sake of a joke, but I feel like, considering how very successful Murder of Sonic has been, considering it's, like, seen by a lot of people to be, like, one of the best games released in the past couple of years, I feel like that's not entirely out of reason.
I didn't even consider that. You're right. There is the knowledge that one of the best Sonic stories and best Sonic interactions we've ever seen hasn't even been from an actual, like, standard Sonic gameplay.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk over it the first time, but Fang's also back.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, and at this point you could just say that he's just out for petty revenge after being so utterly trounced by Trip.
Man, what a bitch.
Yeah, you messed up my favorite robot. Now I'm going to mess you up.
You mean to tell me you could have become a dragon this entire time and you never even offered me free piggyback rides?
Shit, I should have just told you off to Eggman when I had the chance.
It actually is funny in the sense that, like, yeah, actually now when you really get down to it and actually think about it, even though yes, this game completely forgot about that plot point, even though we recall it from that YouTube animated, prequel special thingy before this game came out, technically Trip was the beast that Eggman was hunting after all along.
Kinda, sorta. Let's just again.
Oh, last story we'll talk about that.
Yeah, let's just say that Trip. Trip's whole people is more or less the dragons that Eggman was searching for, and he just didn't. He sort of neglected to read that part of the the whole manuscript he was in the middle of examining during his short.
Fair.
You know what? Lesson learned. The next time I read a stone tablet, I'm going to read it right.
And be careful with your scribblings. But anyway,
Yeah, that's still probably my favorite, detail about that whole short is the fact that, he goes to such lengths to, draw out the dragon.
Yeah.
Aw. But yeah, he's drawing it all out while Fang and Trip are trying to deal with all the booby traps, only to just reveal
Movie traps and the giant snake.
Right. Oh, yeah, the giant snake. My apologies. Yes, only to reveal a stupid doodle.
Yeah.
It wasn't stupid. I spent 4 hours on it.
Hey, you know what? Say whatever you will. Eggman at least made the effort to actually draw it.
For sure. By hand. He could have used AI or traced it. No,
I may be evil, but even I support artists. AI is no-go. Which sounds ironic coming from me of all people, but still.
By the way, I'm still in favor of changing the name of Twitter to X.
Of course you would. You would. It was that, but also I saw another clip from that takeover where someone just asked Sonic, "Why don't you just put Eggman in jail?" Oh, yeah. Why haven't I done that? And he just takes him to jail, and Eggman is just screaming the whole way.
Diplomat community.
He would.
He would use that fucking excuse too.
Nonsense! We're adventuring a bank, Pomni!
What are you, a cop? I'm not telling.
Thank you.
God damn it.
But I was about to say, also speaking back to that, I also remember one bit, and I remember because my friend Violet made an animac of it, the whole, so did you give those flowers to Rouge? Wait, how do you know about that? Thanks for the question. But no, seriously, how do you know about that? I'm a gossip.
I'm a gossip. Tails is a good gossip. Also, right off the bat when we were talking about those supersonic things, anything that's that laser behind you, keep that in mind for the rest of this game in campaign. Anything that's that laser, I believe it can kill Super Trip no matter what.
It can.
Yeah, it can.
Stupid.
Ugh.
Especially when this game does something that was never been done before in this franchise, and innovative is not always good. Anywho, the next zone.
You know what? I just imagine, Cuphead and Mugman see that, it's like, weak. Whenever we see peak energy stuff, we can just hop off it.
Ha ha ha. I suppose that's true, though.
That does remind me. I wonder what that studio's up to since they're now hiring new artists.
Right, I saw that, and I was so tempted to send an application for that. But the big thing holding me back is they said that they say they're also looking for animators with experience. I am not an animator with experience.
Aww.
Well, I mean, hey, you can always start whenever. It's a tedious ass process, but I mean, never hurts to try it at least once.
Right.
That is
There's always
true.
roughs. There's always there's different stages of it.
Well, I just mean that's.
I think your animatics and the expressions you do are good.
Well, I know. It's just that I just need to do more of them, and I think they're looking for like actual genuine animators. Not unlike what they already have for Cuphead.
Didn't you technically animate that Rayman and Glowbox? Did you okay the rabbit?
Well, that was an animatic, and that was decades ago. I don't even know. I don't even know whatever happened to the whole thing.
Aw, fair. Speaking of art things, because I just learned about this and it's blown my mind. I recently saw this on Twitter from GoldConnor64. Shout outs to him because I feel like I legally have to do that just in case. He learned. So in Luigi's Mansion 3, the art director of that game was a Mr. Jeffrey Zorn.
Oh, I saw that video, but I'll let you continue.
Jeffrey Zorn was also the art director of another game before that, Hotel Mario.
Wow.
And he got to work on a Luigi hotel.
If that's not a fucking glow up, I don't know what is. Holy shit.
It's fantastic.
Fantastic.
And yes, I apologize. I believe technically GoldConnor64 was retweeting some knowledge from a Kadikarus video, I guess.
Right,
It was or not Kadikarus video. It was a video that... It was a Did You Know Gaming video that had Kadikarus in it.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's the newest video that they released, and I still love that bit of irony. It's like, nice of Luigi to invite us over to the hotel, eh, princess?
Wowie, zowie.
Wowie. Fucker.
Oh, careful.
You ruined my groove.
I don't think he said that.
He totally would if it was R-rated.
Oh yeah, no, if it was just like the Hotel Mario actor just going whole ham, because didn't that actor voice both Mario and Luigi or just Mario?
Both the brothers.
Okay.
Both of them, and I recall his attempts at making a YouTube poop, and the humor wasn't quite there. But it was at least cute that he was able to like acknowledge that part
I mean,
of his past.
I'll give that credit because it was at least an actual like actor that had played Mario before doing it, as opposed to just a fan thinking, "Haha, Mario swear instant likes."
Careful! Oh god, we gotta get out of this jungle.
Don't worry, we're almost out. And as a matter of fact, we're already here to this particular boss.
I should ask, that's not bad. I should ask, is there a act trip that we need to deal with?
No.
No. Basically, throughout Trip's story, she will go through every single zone in the game. That was already in the main campaign, including all the character-specific zone acts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What about, nice. What about, yeah, what am I trying to say? I know no one here actually cares about that, but I am curious. What would you say then about, nice. How do you unlock mecha or metal trip parts for your robot?
I think you have to beat her campaign first. Also, actually, speaking of
Yes, you do.
Trip's parts, once you beat the main campaign itself, you actually can buy her mask.
Oh.
It's freaking expensive, though,
I
so
know.
be sure to grind up the medals if you haven't already, cheated the code.
I can help yous if you want.
It's fine.
Whoop.
If I remember to, I'll definitely be sure to keep that in mind.
But again, like I don't see the. I have not actually personally tried anything with the multiplayer.
I tried like maybe one match of it, and even then it wasn't even an online match, considering that would require me to get an Epic account, and I still refused to.
Oh,
That's fair.
devil damn it! I forgot that Sega did business with Epic.
Boy howdy, wouldn't it have been funny if we actually did this whole thing before they actually patched the games past launch?
Oh my gosh, it'd be funny. Okay, so that's the thing. Like, I do wonder if that's gonna be like their new strategy. I say this as someone who's in the presence of someone who does enjoy Fortnite, and again, I wish I could get into it more, but there's like, I forget if I've ever ranted why I'm not really into Fortnite, but regardless, like they're adding all these they're adding like all these big like new modes and stuff. Like I think they just kind of want Fortnite to be the everything game now.
Yeah, I mean,
It
like,
depends on the season.
Oh, okay. So these different game modes do come in.
Oh dear.
I don't know if they will stay after the season is done, but I'll just have to see what happens.
I'd be shocked if they got rid of some of them. Like especially that racer. That looks like it could have very well have been its own game.
Well, again, it just depends if they're going to keep it or not.
okay.
Right there, I know it's leveraging the mechanics of Rocket League. I guess the wild thing is that Epic, I guess, bought out the software and technology of Harmonix for that Fortnite like rock and roll thing. So that is literally the Rock Band software being used for that mode.
Interesting.
I don't know if they're going to bring back the control peripherals or not, but that was wild. Sorry, go ahead, Hype.
Oh, I was just talking about like some of the modes that they're doing, like the Lego mode, which not for nothing. I have a lot of friends that do love Fortnite, but that Lego Fortnite honestly kind of looks more enticing than Fortnite regular.
No, for sure. And I've heard, and my uncle, like my cousin, loves Legos, and it's just unironically been a really fun thing for my uncle my uncle who plays Fortnite, and my younger cousin who likes Legos. Like they've been bonding over it. Like it is. I'm not gonna say Epic is heartless. They're definitely money driven, hence why they want to make why they want to make an everything game. But it is wild. Where like eventually, if they have it their way, like forget the Epic Game Store, Fortnite will just become their next game platform.
Yeah.
What did you get on the Fortnite, Doug? And that'll be the unironic question I ask: is what have you played? What have you gotten on the Fortnite?
I don't know. I'm personally gonna wait until they upgrade to the Fortnite 360.
Yeah, the Fortnite 360s are that. But
Yeah, I'll just wait and see what happens when they eventually release the Fortnite 1.
ow. But yeah, or the Fortnite 1S X, whatever it is. The Fortnite.
The Fortnite Series F.
I'm finally waiting for when
I'm
Microsoft
heavily
is going.
squinting my eyes right now.
I'm waiting for when Microsoft is going to finally understand what gamers want and are going to give us the Xbox Series SSX tricky.
I'd rather Microsoft know. I would rather Microsoft know what people want and give us games. You know, games that we actually would like to see. Like, I know this is being a dead horse, but to keep teasing it enough, like maybe like something new with Banjo or some of Rare's other things.
Yeah, or same with me and PlayStation.
Yeah, like, would you say Sony is better or worse about that than Microsoft?
Aww. That was cute.
I would probably say Microsoft, just because Sony does still have a pretty highly established, like, first-party division. Or at the very least, first-party IPs, like Ratchet and Clank,
right.
God of War, Last of Us.
But I would say the issues that they have, like,
and and now Ghost of Tsushima.
But with the PlayStation, they're running out of exclusives. Like, all those games that you listed can now just be played on PC.
Yeah, literally.
Like Spider-Man.
So I don't know what the plan is for that. But anywho,
Rawr.
Listen, I'm gonna make the most out of this whenever I can. I mean,
no, dude, and by all means, like that is what is helping this be more than just a retread.
I mean,
because you get to play as a motherfucking dragon.
I was about to say, who doesn't want to play as a Durgan?
Oh, I love how she kind of like, okay, I guess I'm going up now.
One thing I will say is kind of amusing, actually,
Yeah.
when you're playing as a Super Trip, is that Super Trip sounds so fucking weird saying it out loud. Is
Super
that
tripping.
depending on certain, exactly, super tripping. Depending on what she's doing, she turns into this ball of light that essentially is just basically it's just an invisible model that still allows you to do certain things, like, you know, like pressing down to speed up or hanging onto those poles earlier.
A being of
Stuff
pure
like that.
energy.
Basically allows her to do whatever without, being constricted to the
Quickly
anatomy
activate
of
it.
the
Quickly
fucking
activate
dragon.
it.
I'm trying.
Oh, that's right.
I just realized
That's right.
they
You have to
only
get
do
the salt.
during this, and I hate.
Oh my gosh, those are so much faster.
No.
Well, hang on, maybe there's enough raw. Never mind, because then they do that.
Serious?
That is. Can I just say that is such horseshit? I'm sorry, I cussed. But the fact that they hit you first,
Welcome to the club, Logan.
and then the fact that they hit you and then shove the camera in a direction to force all the rings away from you.
I mean, you say that, James, but it could have been. You say that, James, but it could have been worse. He could have called you a prick.
Here, right now, before you start this next phase, activate your avatar.
Oh,
I don't think that's going to do anything during this part.
Oh, is he invincible during this phase?
I can't even swap between my forms, like my
Right, like
powers here.
like I think you can only activate avatar powers when your feet are firmly on the ground.
Now would actually be a pretty alright time to do it. Wait for it now.
Get him, everybody!
And
don't lose
Forget that your direction the direction you aim matters,
Oh,
Yep, careful.
and also not getting hit.
Get the ring. Okay,
That
you
would
got it.
be
Okay,
optimal.
okay, we're good. We're doing good.
Why do you keep making me drop my onion rings?
I need all those. Anyway.
I'm hungry. I missed lunch.
And always always stress-inducing when you're one ring short, and you're so close to the end of the fight, fucking die and have to restart the whole thing. It's only gonna get worse from here.
I'm just gonna have a wide smile on my face once we do get the shadow.
Yeah. Wait, why Shad specifically?
You know why. Because I have an easier
I
time
think
with
it's
that
'cause you
game
don't
compared to
lose
that
your
fucking
rings when
final
you get
boss.
hit. Or-
It's not necessarily that,
Oh,
it's
that-
just more of, I legit do have an easier time with that game. More so that I also know the layout like the back of my head.
Right. Well, because you've played it more than you played Superstar, so that's to be understood.
That and my first Sonic game too.
That would also have a hand in it.
You definitely said that story multiple times, and it's like, I'll totally believe you. It's just,
Yep.
man, I feel bad for people who started with that game specifically.
It wasn't my game technically at first, it was my brother's.
Well, regardless.
He gave me it.
You know what? Considering how much you talk about how much you hate your brother, that makes a lot of sense.
it's not really more so of a hate. I don't want to get that out there. It's more so of a very deep disappointment.
That's fair.
I mean, you know, it probably. Oh, I always love it when she actually accidentally does trip during her victories. Huh. You think he would have been a little more original with whatever he was getting out of there?
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
I don't know. Kind of looks like Sonic.
You wouldn't think that. Ow.
But, yeah, no, otherwise it's like, yeah. Honestly, I don't even know what I was gonna go after that. It's like...
So back onto Fortnite. No, I don't know.
When do you think Sonic and Tails will be in Fortnite?
After Roblox releases them from their sole contract.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm gonna be real. I doubt they are gonna do that, mainly because of the character models and the size differences on all that stuff.
Dude, I want to see. I want them to freaking make that stupid like Archie. Not Archie. Was it Archie? Yeah, it would have been Archie. I want them to make that Archie comics thing canon, Doug, and give us buff Tails.
Oh, Turbo Tails.
Oh, Titan Tails.
I want them to give us Titan Tails in Fortnite because that's how they would.
If Epic ever does that, I will be easily amused.
I think realistically, what they should do is just bring in the fucking guy that wears the Sonic mascot costume for all those Mario and Sonic.
Yeah.
commercials.
I thought you were about to say I thought you were about to say Sonic Man from the critically acclaimed game Sonic 06.
Devil damn it! I was about to say the same thing.
Hell, I'll take Sonic Man.
I don't know. It really depends on
Gosh,
what future collaborations they're really gonna do.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, just think of how many costumes we can make out of so many iconic characters.
You know what? I just thought of like.
I'm guessing they're not gonna do Nintendo. I know they're not gonna touch that.
Well, they've tried. They've been trying, but they haven't really gotten anywhere with that.
Right, because I remember hearing like all the failed attempts at getting Samus on there. I will say, like for Sonic, if you want Sonic in there so badly and you don't want to have to worry about like Sonic himself not fitting over like the player rig, just compromise and have it be Eggman.
I mean, yeah.
Well, again, it really depends.
I would love.
To be fair,
I
for
would
that,
love- okay.
to be fair with that comparison, I know that can be said with Boom Eggman, Peter Griffin. They made a complete new model for Peter.
That's true.
Yeah. I would love though if it was like taking the model and movement. I would love if it was like get him. I would love if it was specifically like Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure 2 Eggman when he's like in the Chow Garden when he's just running around on his legs, just like
Actually, what am I even doing?
Man, you know
yeah,
if they
I'm a
did that,
dragon!
they would-
I can say screw this, I'm a dragon.
I'm a motherfucking dragon.
Yeah.
That's right. Ultimate power.
Yeah. Though, going back to the whole what if they put Eggman in Fortnite thing? Honestly, I don't think it would be as egregious as what they did with Peter Griffin, because, I mean, Peter Griffin's a fat fuck. And Eggman, granted he's a fat fuck too, but he's also not as much so as Peter. So, I mean, they could easily...
Well, I'm also saying that mainly because of the rig's hitbox itself.
Right. Which, I mean... I don't know. Like, I don't know how hitboxes work with that game, but I get the feeling it doesn't feel like it should be that big of an issue, considering, like, if you're gonna aim at them anywhere, aim for the heart. or the head.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, like, since all the skins technically have to share the same animations, you know, so they can do all the same sick emotes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Yeah, it all has to be on sync with the emotes and all that stuff, so there has to be some compromises. There is a reason why Peter's that fucking buff in the fucking Battle Pass.
Yeah, and the moral of today's story, kids, is that Fortnite is not against fat shaming.
I have one incredible idea.
What?
What's up?
Just to really just to really mess with people. Well, first of all, actually that would never work. That would never happen. Sorry, where was I going with this? Sega they would put out an announcement like, guess what? A famous Sonic character is going to appear. A pivotal Sonic character is going to appear in Fortnite, and then it turns out to be the Gun Soldier from Shadow the Hedgehog.
I mean, no,
he was the one person who had gunned down anyone.
You know what? No, they wouldn't put him in that. They would put him in fucking PUBG.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, you know they put him in PUBG, and they would put
Mr. President.
Was it Rourke? Not Mr. President. Mr. President would be hilarious. What was his name? What was the gun commander called? Was it?
He was literally just called the gun commander. I don't think they gave him a proper name.
Oh,
They didn't.
that's gotta hurt. Wow, for being Eggman's half brother or half cousin, whatever his relation is, that's gotta hurt.
I'm pretty sure they were just friends.
What happened, Hype?
Maria Robotnik.
Yeah,
No. Don't put the little girl in Fortnite.
but only if it's that one fan.
Well, Spider-Gwen's in Fortnite.
But unless only if it was that really cool like fan redesign someone did of like what if she actually grew up and like had like the whole cloak and the whole like coat.
Okay, you know what?
doctors, like, lab and
You
everything.
know what? We'll compromise. I was gonna say this at first, but Maria popped in my head at the last second. Although I feel like this would be equally as funny. Elise.
Yeah, you can finally fucking kill her again.
What
man.
was the world come to when they start adding in fucking Soliana princesses into the mix?
Well, I mean,
Okay,
they have gone around to acknowledging her again. Like, remember in that like calendar event where she was ice skating with Silver?
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember that, and I mean that was very precious. But it's also a matter of like, I don't want to see her. I don't want to imagine her in Fortnite.
I know we're in this really weird thing right now, but because I saw a furry in Fortnite recently, like they released this new like model or whatever.
You have to be
and it's
very
just now been in
specific
my
on which
head
one you're
for
talking
whatever
about.
reason. I forget which one. The buff tiger dude.
He's in the past right now, yeah.
Who look? Okay, yeah. Who looks like one of Gazelle's backup dancers from Zootopia. He is. I don't know why she suddenly put the idea in my head. Of what if they did a partnership with Vicarious or PlayStation and they put in frickin' Titans Tiny the Tiger from the Titans games?
Well, Vicarious Visions didn't make the Titans games.
Yeah, but they own the copyright to Crash Bandicoot, I thought. Or am I thinking of Toys for Bob?
That's just purely Activision.
Okay, so they partner up with Activision, and they put in the Tiny the Tiger from Titans. Would you play as him?
Probably for shits and giggles, yes.
If they gave him the voice lines and everything.
Well, I don't think characters are technically voiced in Fortnite.
No, they're not.
Okay, that's fair.
The only voices they really get is mainly the official Fortnite characters with their animations.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just glorified skins.
Yeah.
Although the Michael Myers playing the Halloween theme song with a knife into the piano was pretty silly.
That's the best emote in the game.
It's so silly. Also, what's that? Anyway, we've gone into a really weird topic. I'm apologize. I'm apology. I'm a bad. So, as we're getting through this, I don't know, like. So I know I made the joke earlier about this being like the third time they've tried to. Oh, we found the kill plane over here.
There it is.
There it is. Put the sign up.
Oh, I didn't even get a checkpoint.
Oh.
Either.
Wow.
Well, this is gonna be awkward.
Okay, well, I'm gonna finish. I mean, we're doing pretty far. I think we're already past the halfway point of the game. I think.
No.
Not
Or
quite.
nearing.
That's not gonna be until Sand Sanctuary.
Damn! I forgot how long this one is.
Yeah, Sand Sanctuary is the halfway point in the game.
I know I made the joke about this being the third or fourth time they tried to create a fifth member of the Sonic crew. I believe it being like first there was Cream, then there was Styx the Badger.
Cream at least stuck around for what it's worth.
True. Yeah. Then there was Styx the Badger, and it just, I don't know. Styx the Badger always felt really weird to me because in the show they tried to make it seem like, oh, she's always been here. It's like, no, she hasn't.
Well, Boom just kind of has like its own little universe that it doesn't really bother going in depth about.
Fair.
You know, that's gonna ring a little different once you remember Amy's closing line in Sonic Frontiers, where she was contemplating doing a road trip with both Cream and Styx.
So now it's canon there, and I don't know.
She's gonna have a whole road trip with her favorite 50s.
Oh, I forget if I'd seen James. I forget if you had tried it or not, James, with the Sage stuff. Have you tried the? Have you tried the recent? Hit it. Have you tried the that one Sage demo with someone trying to actually work Tangle into a 3D platformer Sonic?
I have not.
It looked pretty cool.
I didn't know like the playable demo of it was out, but yeah, it looks really cool. Like I feel like the art style might take a bit of getting used to, but there's a part of me that kind of appreciates when they try to make their own assets instead of just using ripped models and leaving it at that.
Right, and like And like they made her moveset seem believable. Where, I mean, yes, it basically would be Sonic Umihara, but the mechanics and the physics are there.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Just lasso and slingshot your way to victory, and yeah.
You know, now that I thought of thinking about it, wonder how much it would take to convince Sega to consider maybe animated adaptations of the IDW comics.
Well, I do know that there is one person that is trying heavy asterisks at the end to make that a possibility.
Oh yeah.
Someone official or fan?
It's fan, and the reason why I say asterisks is because there's like a lot of like really iffy things surrounding it. I think people, if I say the name, people will probably know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's a fan series called Sonic Rebound.
I already knew what you were talking about immediately.
That sounds familiar, but I'm sorry to have to ask for more context that I don't quite know.
Okay, so basically it starts off as like an adaptation of the IDW comics. The animation kind of varies in quality because I actually think they get different animators for different episodes. It starts to get a little iffy when it gets to episode 3, where they skip one of the issues, like play them out of order, because the whole thing in the comics is like, at the end of issue 2, Amy's like, well, if you want to make yourself useful, Knuckles needs some help in the town over. Okay, I'll go help Knuckles out in the town over. And then it completely ignores Knuckles in the next episode.
What? You were supposed to help him in the town over.
Yeah. Like they
mission.
swapped
Help him in the
issues
town
3 and
over.
4 so that he meets Tangle and Blaze before meeting Knuckles. And then they do this really iffy thing where it's like, for people that know the comics, they know this, but for Logan and James's sake, the first arc kind of plays up this idea of like Eggman is no longer in charge since he's reformed, and in his place is Metal Sonic trying to reform the Eggman army.
Right, while he's the Tinkerer and stuff.
Yeah. Rebound does this weird thing where it's not Metal Sonic that's trying to like resurrect the Eggman Empire, it's the Eggman from Sonic Set AM.
Huh?
Oh, is this a fan fiction thing where he's trying to now make it that those two were always different, even though like that's not supposed to
I
be?
don't know all the details, but it does get into like a lot of like iffy like continuity changes and just a lot of questionable things.
Oh, my favorite.
No, it's a good thing I'm not fucking following that thing.
Yeah,
me neither.
That's
I feel bad because I have a bunch of friends that are voicing for it, and I know they've shown like their displeasure on working on it, but it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, those are actors and animators that could be better used on better projects.
Is he paying them at least?
No.
Okay, then I don't know why your friends are continuing to help him. Just drop him. Like there's no. It sounds like there's zero like investment or zero like ball and chain. Just cut him.
Yeah, cut them out of the picture.
Do the Shy Guy and slash the rope. Send him up the river.
Yeah, like I don't know. Let those animators do something that might pay them better.
Right.
Actually, allow them to be paid. Like I don't know. Is that whole season like fan made season 3 as a Sad AM still a thing?
Yeah.
As far as I know, it still is.
So yeah, like I don't know, like look into that. I don't know, like sorry, I hate to come across now as like all heartless, but like I was like rallying behind them, like okay, I mean, we've got bills to pay, like I can't fault them until you said they're not getting paid. Okay, now it's just looking silly on their part to remain involved.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like a lot of Sonic projects,
That's
even
very
like
hard,
really,
folks.
I was about to say, well, that it's kind of not as simple as that, because to be fair, a lot of Sonic fan projects, even really big ambitious ones, are technically like non-paying, just made purely out of passion. So it's really only the rare occasion where you would get one where they actually, put some real dollar behind it.
Right, again, hence my assumption that that's why they would bother to stay with a guy who was so clearly trying to go against the vision and saying that they were displeased with. I don't know, man. It comes across as like this is me falling under the assumption that they are actively telling you hype, like, I do not like working for this person, it is so annoying, then why don't you stop working for them? It's Sonic, I want to keep working with Sonic. No, if it's no benefit to you, your resume, or your future, why are you, and you don't like the actual story and content of it, why are you sticking around?
Well, I think some of them already left the series, because they told me that, like, a lot of their lines they basically, like, recorded in advance.
Okay, fair. Then they can just, leave and focus on something else. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, look at the little trip blushy.
Looks so.
That's lame that I can knock you out of it entirely.
Yeah.
Take damage for sure. I can understand taking damage, but don't knock you out of it.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the one other thing that I think should be changed after Superstars is that make it so that you don't get immediately knocked out of your Chaos powers when you take damage.
Right.
I mean, honestly, just lose rings and keep going with it. That's all. That's all I'd do.
Yeah. Yahoo.
Because man, because there are times where you can get knocked out and probably get your powers knocked out to probably the most awkward moments.
I know this is probably a question that I should not be asking voice actors, who wish to remain working in the industry, but I am curious, has there ever been a project like that, Doug, that just like after the fact or whatever just was not what you were expecting it to be?
I've not had that coming towards me just yet.
Okay.
So I can't fully answer that.
That's fair. I was gonna say, if it was a Dub Matters project, I will cry.
Whatever did happen to that channel?
I won't hold it against you, and I won't even disagree with you, but I will cry.
Logan puts me a fucking gunpoint, and then he'll cry if I say something.
It's like, don't worry, Logan, your dub matters to me.
I don't even use the gun. I'm just holding. Oh, I love the idea. I'm not even gonna shoot you. I just hold it for effect, but I'm still gonna cry.
What makes it better is that it's a Nerf gun.
Yeah.
No, it's not even a real gun. It's just a water squirter that I colored to look like a gun.
But you're right. Oh my god.
It's just a super soaker I bought at Target.
Oh my god. Backing up, two things back to back. Number one, hey, it's Act Amy. Two things.
I will say right now, playing Act Amy with Trip definitely makes you appreciate Amy's whole hammer run all the more.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Because you do still need to do Trip's double jump even just to break through the fruit.
Wait, you can't even spin dash him?
Nope, can't spin dash on him.
Oh, that's annoying.
It can be, unfortunately.
Yeah. But and yes, we go. I guess back and forth real quick. Nice. Back and forth. Yes, I don't believe Doug has been in anything Dub Matters. I know he and I've collabed on some things for Hype's channel or his, but I don't think he's been in a Dub Matters thing yet.
Nope, I have not.
I mean, in all fairness, it's almost like we kind of haven't been doing much with Dub Matters for the past few years.
Yeah, it's something I want to still do.
I know me and Sam have been working on, a couple of things for it. I say this completely understanding that we all have lives, but I will say one of the biggest things that we're working on, we're still technically waiting on some of you guys to record for.
Whoops, that's right. I'm the bear, or I'm the wolf. I forget.
I was honestly about to ask what happened to that project.
I did.
Well, like I said,
I recorded my last for Sonic, I want to say about a year or two ago.
Yeah,
I gotta get on that. Christmas Miracle, here we go.
I have yours, I did mine, I have Sam's, it's just Logan's, Matt's, and Doug's that we're still waiting on. Or is it just Logan's and Matt's?
I'm pretty sure it's just Logan's and Matt's. Doug is very trustworthy. I don't know about that Logan fella. I think he's very, he gets easily distracted by games.
That Logan's oddly...
I don't even remember if I was even casted for join you guys for that thing.
Well, I think we were talking about it.
Go on, James. I want to hear how this joke goes.
All I was gonna say is that Logan fella is awfully inconsistent with his punctuality.
Yeah.
That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah. Nope. You ain't wrong there. I'm still. I can finally I can finally finish Frontiers. Sure, would be great if I get back to that. I gotta get back to that shit. Anywho, while I work, but anyway, but yes, I know I gotta work on that. The other thing that just reminded me of.
Granted, he's not as bad as that James fellow who up and canceled his Paper Mario thing recently.
But that was for a number of reasons, and it's a bummer because we have the ambitions, and I still want to.
You know what, fuck it. I do need the. I wouldn't mind getting. I could use some extra medals.
And don't get me started on that Tool Steve and his avatar thing.
That was gonna be my big break, Steven. That was gonna be in my resume.
Your big break.
No, it's not my big break. Jeez, I do this more casually, and I know I'm never gonna actually make it big. I don't have the chops for that part. It's for fun mostly, and
I'm doing my best to boost you up in this world, little mister.
Focus on yourself. You will drown if you try to. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I leave no man or woman behind, dagnabbit. Unless I forget about him, in which case it's entirely unintentional.
Hype, I dedicate James' achievement of getting those 5 medals to you.
Now go spend them at the arcade, you happy child, you.
Yeah. Where was I with this? The guns. The gun thing that James brought up, or you guys with the Nerf gun. I just saw... This is rambling mode me, and maybe the main time I'll get political on
Damn,
this.
I could have just gotten those five medals.
Yeah, what was that? Yeah,
Why did I have to bother going to the special
This
stage?
is silly. But probably the only time I'll get political about this because, oh my god, I think I saw on TikTok today the most dangerous tool, the most dangerous toy ever in terms of, like, what is going to happen. Like, I dread news stories that will come out if any of those sell. They are selling, you know, you've seen, like, fidget toys, like fidget cubes or fidget, like, you know, little things that, like, you know, click or clack and all that.
Yeah.
Or fidget spinners.
Yeah, fidget spinners. Just that, like, click and stuff. So someone is selling fidget guns.
Fidget guns.
Like, they're very small, like they fit in your hand, but like they click, they clack, they go back and forth. Like you can like actually like pretend cock them. There's zero ammunition, mind you, zero ammunition, no projectiles. But I'm just thinking in my head like, my fucking god, like the next time a police officer pulls someone over and let's say they're nervous and they need a fidget toy in order to like, you know, focus and remain calm, and that's what they pull.
Actually,
yes.
Real quick for a moment. Aspect, if you're watching this, if you ever do Superstars 2, don't bring back these block pushing puzzles, please.
Like anyone. That's the weird thing. Like, it's funny that they gave those to Amy as though Amy alone is the one who's able to push things, when I'm pretty sure everyone can push things.
Well, I mean, you only see them in their level, so I mean that's fair enough.
But regardless, it's just weird. And yay! She looks so happy. But yeah, no, it was. I agree.
And now Trip's gonna remember the time when when she fell down and cried, and then Amy gave her piggyback ride.
This is the sad part where my
I thought you were gonna stop at the whole like I thought you were just gonna stop at the whole like she'll remember when she tripped and cried, and I was about to say, oh, so basically a day that ends in Y.
Careful. Wee. This is such a silly sprite.
Look.
Such a happy little dragon.
Yeah. Careful.
Who cares? I'm a dragon.
And done.
You know, that's not a bad haul. 55 fruits, nothing to scoff at. I think that should at least get me about maybe 5 fruit.
Hello.
Okay, no, that's a bit too generous. I think they're only going to be about 1 fruit.
One single fruit. It's the frickin'
One stinking fruit!
It's the Pikmin 3 thing all over again.
Man, this isn't going to be enough juice to last a month.
Beans! That's the other thing I remembered. I gotta get around to for my New Year's project, is I gotta get back to setting up to post-record Pikmin 2.
Get on that, mister, because I'd like to get to 4 sooner or later.
I know.
I mean, granted, nothing's saying we can't do 4 first, considering it's essentially an alternate timeline, but I don't know, I wouldn't mind playing, you know, the continuity card a little closer, since we just finished 1 not that long ago.
Right, and I don't want to play 3 again, but it was fun, so...
You know, speaking of post-comp stuff, I do need to eventually get around to buying the... I know it's, like, I've heard, like, a lot of mixed things about it, but I'm still gonna hold out for it because the biggest reason I'm buying it is the part that's not getting the mixed reception. I still need to get the Arkham collection on Switch so I can start working on Asylum.
Oh yeah, no, I'm down for that.
Yeah, basically, like...
No thanks.
Fall.
Like, from what I'm hearing of people, my assessment was essentially true in a sense of, like, Arkham Asylum and City run perfectly fine. Some people are saying that, like, City actually runs the best out of the 2 of them.
I always wonder what that is.
Oh.
Same. I have. You know, that might have been something that I guess they were planning on using. Like, you know, like when you first start these special stages, you're standing on a platform.
Yeah.
Just so that they can give you the little tutorial on how
that's
you're supposed to play a special stage.
Maybe that's there just in case that's the first one you ever play. Or interesting.
Maybe.
Or maybe it's an unused asset that they forgot to dummy out.
Maybe. But yeah, no, sorry, continue on your thing, Hype. Yeah, I'm still very skeptical on how Knight will perform on Switch.
That's the fun part. It doesn't.
Yeah, I was about to say, it runs terribly on Switch.
Yeah, it's like... Apparently, from what I understand, it's I don't want to say it's like exclusively the Switch's fault because let's be
Hey.
fair, this isn't the first time Arkham Knights had a really terrible port made.
Yeah, no, like, as far as I'm aware, that game, if it's not on, like, Xbox One or PlayStation 4, that game was poorly optimized.
Aww.
Like,
But yeah,
I swear,
oh.
it's like it was made just for those two consoles and literally nothing else.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely one.
I mean, granted, I guess I could ask, since, you know, you played it first, Logan, did you run into many issues when playing that game?
Which one?
Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight.
No. Like no real issues that I can recall. Like I don't recall any. I think maybe there was one single crash, but it must have happened during my Riddler trophy thing when I was just like running around, like, and it could have even just been a memory leak or something. Like maybe I left the game running for too long, but from what I recall, like the game ran pretty smoothly. Like there was very little crazy loading times. I will say the game was, for a world map that big, it was fairly optimized.
Which is good.
Again, my biggest complaints are,
Ha ha ha. Yeah, I'm glad I'm in this glass bubble, because I am not waterproof.
Ba 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 ba.
hang on a second.
Oh shit, I'm not dragon-proof either.
You were saying about complaints, Logan?
But my biggest complaint is just that I just think the end game.
Oh, I just noticed that detail.
Uh huh.
You can't breathe firewall underwater.
Aw, was that this? Fair
I
enough.
mean, it makes sense, but
Props in for that detail. What was it? Just the fact that I just didn't care for the in-game face models when people talk. They looked really stiff and weird compared to City and Asylum, where they were more expressive.
Which is funny considering, you know, that was already a pretty low point for those games.
Fair. They just look really stiff, like Batman with his big lips. That, and again, I'm not much.
Those luscious Batman lips.
That, and again, I'm still not much of a fan of how much the Riddler trophy, how many Riddler trophies there are, and like, yeah, no, it was just way too much in that game. Way too much in that game to get the true ending. You get, like, again, you can have a lot in that game for bonus stuff, but how did you get damage dealt to you in Super Trip form?
I think the boss's hit box was still active just as it was.
Oh,
saved,
for a
Super,
second
Trip.
after, and you had to, and that's right, because when you kill a boss, usually. Oh, you silly son.
I'll still say, for what it's worth, when you're not playing the multiplayer, like, I'd say this game is honestly not all that buggy and whatnot. Like, there's obviously still gonna be problems here and there for sure, but like, I'd say this is still probably one of the cleaner Sonic games I've played in a while. Anyway, time to head on to the Sanctuary.
I know. I mean, let's go. Let's at least try to go for an hour or so. See what happens on our adventures.
I mean, honestly, now that we're this far in, I mean, I might honestly just say, fuck it, let's go. Let's just,
You're going to
pull it
want
up.
a break before the final boss. I know you.
Yeah,
are
I mean,
going
you know
to
what?
want a
That
break.
is probably what I'll do. Before we... You know what? Fuck it. What do you guys say? Why don't we keep this going until I reach the Egg Fortress?
sure, why not?
Because by that point, that's definitely going to be a session in and of itself. Just getting through that, getting through the final boss, and then dealing with the last story.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
What do you think, Doug?
Huh?
Are you okay with James basically powering through this to get all the way up to the Egg Fortress zone? Like, he'll stop at Egg Fortress for his sanity and to take a breather, but just for to see how see how far and see how fast we can get through basically all the regular zones up until that point.
Fine by me.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess while we were on that, I forget. Have you are you wanting to get the Asylum or the Arkham games, Doug?
I do have both City and Asylum on my PC. I am gonna play Night at some point, thanks to my PSN, and I will get Origins in my own time. But other than that, I'm not getting it for the Switch.
I mean, that's fair.
If you already have those games on PC and other consoles, you don't need to worry about the Switch version.
Right,
the only games that are going to run well enough on it are Asylum and City, and even then they're not pitch perfect ports.
Actually, it's funny that you say that, because I haven't really heard that many problems with Asylum and City. If anything, I've heard some people say that City actually runs pretty perfectly.
I know that I think at the very least it does run better than their original PS3 and Xbox 360 releases. But otherwise, yeah.
I'm curious. Do you think they're going to leverage or make use of any of the gyro controls and stuff that the Switch has?
I don't see why they wouldn't.
It'd be cool to like you. I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking out loud. It'd be cool to use the gyro controls to control the remote batarang.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
But yeah, like, personally speaking, like, you know, it's a shame that they couldn't get Night to run on the Switch, but it's not going to be the reason why I'm going to get the Arkham Collection, so I'm fine.
Yep, it's game to be able to play your favorite Arkham games, the two of them, minus Origins, on the go.
That is still, like...
That does actually remind me of something that I noticed when the when the whole collection was releasing. Because, like, on the eShop, I noticed that, like, it lists all 3 games separately. And technically you do buy them in the collection.
You can it's like Bayonetta, you could, like, piecemeal it.
Well, no, that's the thing, like...
No, my point is that it feels like those games were originally planned to also be released, like, you could pay for them separately as opposed to getting all 3 in the collection.
I will say this, James, you're not entirely far off, because one thing I've read about the collection is that it kind of pulls a...
Tasers!
Oh no! I was about to say, that is one thing that I have read about the collection, that it kind of pulls a Spyro Reignited, and that Asylum is the only one that's on the disc, and that you technically have to download the other 2.
Lame. Oh well. Pray that those eShops never go down anytime soon. But
Right?
hey, well, where are we going with this?
Then again, I'd at least say this much, like, even if their whole storefront, like, they doesn't usually run, I mean, at least they've been relatively okay with how they're... Well, you know, up until recently, they've been pretty okay with how long they let their, like, how they let their servers go on just so that people can still download their games they already bought.
Yeah.
Wii U, we hardly knew them.
Wii U, we didn't know how much we loved you until you were gone.
Scott the Woz misses you.
The Metroid fanbase misses you, because, like, up to a certain point, that really was the only way you could play most, if not the entirety of the Metroid series.
I'm on a silly thing here. Just the way our tones were just now. Like Scott the Woz misses you. The Metroid fan base misses you. Even Squidward misses you.
Whoopee!
The exact same tone, just that thing. Oh, what a silly day this is. I'm.
Well, we're pretty much retreading familiar ground. It would only make sense we'd start tripping on tangents.
I think, these bosses aren't bad, provided you have Super Trip on your side to kind of like. Just
if you don't, then you know it's still a matter of they still take too long, and there's very much the threat of death is very much real.
It's just not a very engaging or fun way to like add challenge. It just again, it's the idea of like it's not harder, it's just longer, and that what that does is sure it's difficult because it's like it's the stupid metaphor I just came up with off the top of my head is that it's like, hey, hypes, balance on 1 foot. It's like, okay,
what?
that may be a challenge, do it. That may be a challenge, but it's not a challenge in and of itself. But if I tell you, all right, hype, balance on 1 foot for an hour and a half, and if you mess up, I gotta start the timer over again. Now it's hard, but it's more frustrating hard because it's just trying to keep something up for so long. And like you said, it's at that point the tension isn't from man, this boss is really challenging. The tension comes from man, I'm gonna have to redo a lot of shit if I mess up now.
Am I allowed to switch legs if one of them gets tired, sir?
Okay, fine, you can get down.
Yeah, no, like that right there was already the reason why nobody liked the fucking Fang fight in Golden Capital. Because if you mess up once, your ass is grass, and you gotta do the whole thing again from scratch.
Speaking of, I guess stay tuned for that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Unfortunately, this game has not done Fang any favors, even if, I do appreciate the new model and, whatnot. Just him returning in general.
Yeah. You know what? If nothing else, his return does give a lot of source filmmaker, animators, a lot of footage, a lot of, like, beautiful ideas.
That is true.
Yeah.
You can use all that. I don't know. I want another. I'm in this silly, weird world where like I want another Sonic Heroes with Team Hooligan.
That would be nice.
I think that was their name officially.
It was Team Hooligan.
Well, in the Arch comics, yeah.
Well, Archie, and it does get carried over into IDW as well.
That's fair. It does honestly make you wonder where like, especially when it came to this game, like, like, by the time this game came out, Fang was definitely much more associated being paired up alongside, Bean and Bark, because they were the three most prominent, like, for lack of a better word, side characters in Sonic the Fighters.
Right.
So it's also a matter of, like, kind of makes it interesting that with Sonic Superstars, like, Fang definitely comes back, but Bang and Bean are nowhere to be found.
Well, and this was after they even teased at all three of them, I believe, in Mania in the Wanda posters.
Yeah. Well, the Wand posters and
And
the
the boss fight.
Yes, and the Heavy Magician boss fight.
Yeah. So that is silly then. That especially if this is based on the same thing, that they wouldn't try to leverage that out.
I mean, I guess the primary thing is that the whole pairing up of Fang, Bean, and Bark was primarily, for all intents and purposes, I would say fan thing, technically speaking, but then again, it's also a matter of, like, the comics and Sonic Mania are officially licensed by Sega, so I guess it's just, when it comes to, like, the people that are actually, that have developed the game since its inception, it's not seen quite as, not as much as necessity? I don't know.
Okay. No, I hear where you're coming from there.
I guess it's also just a matter of, like, the
You know what? I will fucking take that to the bank. I should have died there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I think a lot of it might also have to do with the fact that, like, as fun as the Team Hooligan dynamic is, they probably don't see it as viable to translate into a game as you would, like, a comic or a show.
Yeah, like, when you deal with a game, per se, unless they're, like, the primary force of the whole thing, then, well, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where you'd really have to, have a roundtable discussion figuring out how to make it work.
I love the idea that this is how it comes out, that not even Ian Flynn will touch the Team Hooligan, like, right, like, in his stories.
Well, I imagine, to be fair, I feel like Ian probably doesn't have, like, as big of a say in that as people think he does. Like, he'll write the stories, but he's not the one that technically comes up with the concepts.
I guess that's true. Sega's usually the ones to tell him, hey, write something for this. He's like, okay.
In fact, what's funny is that, like, even nowadays, like, maybe it's because he's been working overtime on the games, but he's not even being as involved in the comics as much as he is anymore. Like, it's Evan Stanley doing some of it, and they even get, like, other writers on board to handle, like, some of the stories. Like the most recent Winter Jam one, they actually got some other writer to write for that one.
Huh. I love the idea of, like...
I mean, would you say that the writing quality is more or less kept consistent? Like, even when Ian's not around?
I like to say it is. Like, it is kind of funny, because, like, well, first off, comparing Ian to Evan, like, Evan, from all we've seen of her stories, she definitely likes to make more character-focused stuff, like, a lot of, like, slice-of-life character interaction stuff, like, from what she's done with, like, the Chow races and some other things.
I love
Whereas,
that.
oh yeah, that's fun. And then you have, like, some of, like, the stories from, like, the annuals or the Winter Jam, where I guess that's also a little bit more like slice of life, but it's also, like, a bit of, like, a mix depending on the story. And then you have stuff like Winter Jam where people actually throw a hissy fit over Sonic saying y'all.
They got mad at that?
Howdy, y'all!
They got mad at that?
Well, yeah, because, like, apparently there was a panel that... I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the writer themselves apparently has, like, a history of, like, overusing the word and, like, their own vernacular and whatnot, and they're wondering, like, oh my god, now it's seeping into the comics itself, even though it's, like, out of all the... Now, I'll fully admit that, like, the IDW comics have their faults. Sonic saying y'all is not one of those faults, or at least not a fault that's worth getting fussed over.
I love the...
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that being something Sonic wouldn't say.
I love the idea... as we talk over this bullshit boss once again, I love the idea of... what that letter would read like, where it's like, Dear IDW Publishing, I thought I was reading the latest issue and I thought Sonic was very silly today. More silly than he usually is. And I demand a rewrite and rehiring of the lead writer who clearly should understand how serious the blue talking hedgehog that eats chili dogs is meant to be taken.
Listen, I'll somewhat sympathize with some of the Sonic community in that I would appreciate if Sonic's personality was if they treated Sonic a little more like, a typical shonen protagonist. At the same time, though, it's also not unlike him to, like, he can have his sillier moments.
As Doug just shared.
I mean, like, the franchise is inherently really silly when you think about it, so I don't think it's, like, the worst thing in the world if it embraced that silliness now and then.
That was where they at.
Man.
God damn, it's just between that and what happened with Joe Cat, which I'm still kind of ticked off about. Again, it's the freaking waffle. Oh, it's the waffle pancake thing for me. That tweet someone put out where he's just very rationally breaking down why terminally online people's like conflicts are so just weird and annoying. Where it's like, you could say, I like waffles, and then, oh no, sorry, you could say, I like pancakes, and someone will say, what, you don't like waffles? It's like, dude, those are two completely different sentences we're talking about now.
Yeah.
All this over a silly video about him liking girls.
And it was a pretty funny video, and he was still inclusive and mentioned, like, different, like, you know, girl tropes and types, and it's just so weird. I don't know. We're going into Act 2, y'all. This is where the serious shit happens.